Update. Am I the a-hole for telling my boyfriend's family that I bought our house, not him? Original post. This whole thing started last month or so. I 27 female and my boyfriend, 26 male, who I will call Matt for privacy's sake, have been together for 6 years now. I'm the main breadwinner, and that has always been a struggle in our relationship. I would say he is pretty insecure about earning less than me. About a year ago, I finally saved up enough to purchase a house in a neighborhood I really liked. Up until then, Matt and I had been living in his apartment, which is cramped and not located in a nice area. Matt has never been too bothered about moving. He likes living in his apartment, and he doesn't mind living elsewhere, as long as he doesn't have to pay more than half. Knowing full well I could easily purchase the whole house, and it was a bargain for the area, I bit the bullet and bought it using all of my savings. When we moved in, Matt loved the place, and I thought everything was fine. Now this is the reason I'm posting on Reddit. 2 days ago, Matt and I were over at his mom's place for dinner. The conversation was going fine, until the topic of our house came up. My mother-in-law mentioned how proud she was of Matt for owning his own house at 26, which confused me, but I obviously didn't want to start anything at the dinner table. Then Matt's sister chimed in about how much of an achievement it was. Matt looked over at me, not saying anything. I'm not usually a petty or confrontational person, but something about the fact that I was the one who not only bought the house, but also paid the majority of the bills, and that Matt didn't even drop a dollar, really stuck with me. So I decided to say something. I asked Matt who really bought the house in front of everyone. I know it was a dick move, but honestly, I was so riled up by that stage. Matt said nothing, and then I announced to everyone that Matt didn't even contribute to buying the house. Immediately after saying that, I packed up my stuff and went home. I've been texting with Matt's sister, let's call her Kate, who seems to be on my side. Matt is staying with his mom right now, so I have the house all to myself. He hasn't contacted me yet, and I don't know whether it's worth breaking up over a lie like this. Am I the a-hole? Now for the top comments before reading the update. My experience is if you lie about the little things, you definitely gonna lie about the big and bigger things. Honestly, I don't think this is a little thing at all. This is a huge deception. That's what I was saying. Little thing? I don't think so. Not the a-hole. Matt is lazy and a liar and a freeloader. He had the audacity to tell his family he bought your house, knowing he did not contribute one black penny and doesn't even pay the bulk of the bills, and is sulking and hiding out at his mother's house and giving you the silent treatment because you called him out on his BS. You sound like an intelligent, ambitious, and hard-working woman. You can do a whole lot better than Matt the Mooch Man-child. This gave me a good laugh. Yeah, you should get Kate to come and get her brother's things and drop them off at their mom's. Not the a-hole. The fact that he said nothing actually speaks volumes. He wanted to look like a big man while riding his girlfriend's coattails. As for the breaking up part, I think would depend on what he actually told his family. Did they assume he contributed, or did he tell them he did? If he told them he did, he's stealing your valor. Get him out. Kate told me he said he contributed. Tomorrow I'm contacting him to see where this all goes. See, I knew he was a liar. I thought he lied by omission, but he actually bold-faced lied that he contributed, and has the audacity to give you the silent treatment and hide away at his mom's house. What the heck? Now for the update. Hi Reddit, I'm back. Last night I posted on here and it kind of blew up. So, some stuff happened today. Matt came back to the house. I assumed he was coming back to get his things and leave, but I was unfortunately very wrong. He literally told me he could forgive me and that he was moving back in, as if that was a good thing. I was so shocked, but he was dead serious. So, as any sane person would do, I grabbed all his remaining stuff, gave it to him, and told him to GTFO. He got really mad at that, and I was worried he would get aggressive, so I called Kate, his sister, for backup. She was really helpful and drove Matt home. As soon as I can, I'm changing the locks. As for some of the comments, I pay the mortgage, and I don't even think Matt knows what a mortgage is. I live in Canada, so I'm not sure if I have legal rights to kick him out. He has stayed with me just over a year. I'm trying to seek some legal advice. Thank you all for your help, and I'll try to update if I can. It's very dangerous how easily he lied about this. You deserve so much better than this loser. You need to change all the locks, install a security system and cameras. Totally agree. Protecting yourself is a must. Trust your instincts and stay safe. He could forgive her. What a freaking tool bag. Yeah, don't trust him. You're doing the right thing. Change the locks ASAP. Since you're in Canada and he wasn't on the lease or mortgage, he's likely not a tenant, so you can make him leave, but check with a local lawyer to be safe. Document everything, especially any threats or aggressive behavior. You're protecting your home and peace. Stay firm. That is absolutely not how it works. He was allowed to live there and hence he is a tenant at will. OP needs to formally evict him. Changing the locks is a very bad move, and OP could end up in a world of trouble if her ex wanted to litigate it. Thank you for the advice. Haven't changed locks yet, and not sure about the certain laws in my area. As far as I'm aware, Matt isn't the kind to go through legal drama, but I'm talking to a lawyer about it anyways. Next story. Update. Am I the a-hole for demanding to go through my brother-in-law and his girlfriend's bags if they are staying with us? Original post. Background. I have a pretty severe dairy allergy. I break out in hives, struggle to breathe, and have to carry 2 EpiPens with me everywhere. If I get any dairy in my system, I'll end up in the ER. My in-laws know this and have been extremely accommodating since my fiancé and I started dating 5 years ago. When we moved in together 2 years ago, we set strict rules for our home because of my allergy. The big one is that no one is allowed to bring anything that contains dairy into our house ever, no matter what. On to the current story. My brother-in-law started dating his girlfriend a year and a half ago. They came to visit us together for the first time a year ago. My fiancé made sure my brother-in-law explained my allergy to his girlfriend and our no dairy rule. 2 days into their stay, she bought dairy products and cooked lunch for herself when we weren't home. I ended up in the ER because of cross-contamination. She apologized and explained she hadn't understood how serious my allergy was. We managed to put the situation behind us since both my fiancé and I currently have, and want to keep, a good relationship with my brother-in-law. The 2 of them came for a second visit 9 months ago. We had a video call with brother-in-law and his girlfriend before the trip to make sure she understood the severity of my allergy and how serious we are about the no dairy rule. During their second trip, I was taking out the trash and found a candy bar wrappers and an empty milkshake container in the guest room trash, the room she was staying in. Even after she saw how serious my allergy is and how I ended up in the ER, she still brought dairy into our house. I confronted her when they got back. She and brother-in-law had a huge fight. Brother-in-law went through her stuff and threw out everything she had with dairy, and we kicked out his girlfriend. Brother-in-law stayed for the rest of the planned trip. Brother-in-law and his girlfriend worked out the relationship after the trip and are still together. Since their second trip, brother-in-law has come alone since I don't trust his girlfriend in our house. Well, brother-in-law is planning a new trip to visit us, and his girlfriend wants to come too. At first, we just said no. We don't trust her. But since we know this is important to brother-in-law, we came up with what we believe is a good compromise. She can come and stay at our place, but we will look through her bags every time she comes back to our place. And if she doesn't accept that, she can stay at a hotel or stay home. Now I am being called an a-hole for treating her like a criminal, and that checking her bag is an invasion of privacy. So, am I the a-hole for demanding to go through her bag if she is staying at my house? Now for the top comments before reading the updates. Not the a-hole. She's had 2 strikes, and she still couldn't comprehend what she was doing was wrong. If she continues to push back, just tell her, okay, find somewhere else to stay. I've been down this path with you twice before and ended up in the ER. You have intentionally endangered me twice. I'm not willing to risk a third occurrence. Agree. Also, OP, you say you want to keep on good terms, but she ruined that by disrespecting you and calling you names. I wouldn't have her back in my home. Dude, why are you letting her back in? You trying to die? Of course you're not the a-hole. Seriously, do hotels not exist where OP is? I would never let that woman into my home again. Not the a-hole, but I would just tell her to stay elsewhere. The medical bills aren't worth this mess, and she's proven twice she doesn't listen. Now for the first update. I didn't plan on writing an update, especially not so soon, but a lot has happened in just one day. But first, I want to clear up some misconceptions around their second visit to our home. I did not get sick from brother-in-law's girlfriend having candy bars and a milkshake cup in the trash, or some candy bars in her bag. That wasn't the problem. The issue was that, while knowing our no dairy house rule, having not only seen but also been responsible for me going into anaphylactic shock, and having gotten an in-depth explanation of my allergy and why it is important to us to keep our home dairy-free, she still brought my known allergen into my house, my safe space. That is why we fought with her and kicked her out of our house. On to the update. After the first 500 or so comments telling me I am an idiot for even considering letting this woman, who is a danger to my health, back into my house, I realized I was listening way too much to the part of me that just wanted to keep the peace and was downplaying the seriousness of the past incidents in my mind. I kept thinking the first time she might not have known how serious my allergy was, and it was an accident. And since I didn't get sick the second time she brought dairy into my home, I was exaggerating how bad it was. I know it sounds insane, but after dealing with people who don't take allergies seriously for years, I've gotten used to apologizing and even downplaying my allergy to others. I sat down with my fiancé and discussed the whole situation. He explained how he also doesn't want brother-in-law's girlfriend back in our home, but since I was willing to give her another chance, and it was my health affected by her previous actions, he felt I should make the final decision. He ended up texting brother-in-law to tell him our original no answer stands, that he is welcome to stay with us, but she is not allowed in our house, especially since she hasn't even apologized for breaking our rule again after she sent me to the ER the first time they visited. And I'm his family, and my health and well-being are more important to him than brother-in-law visiting. I wasn't here for this part, but this is what my fiancé told me happened. After he sent that message, brother-in-law called him, and they talked. Turns out brother-in-law's girlfriend had told him that she reached out after their second trip, that we talked, and I forgave her, but wasn't ready to have her back in my house yet. She has asked him to come with him every time he has visited us. Brother-in-law always told her no, and that she would only be allowed to come with when I told him I was ready to have her back in my house. He only asked if she could come since it had been 9 months. And as far as he knew, I had forgiven her. According to my fiancé, brother-in-law was extremely apologetic. I haven't had time to talk directly with him yet, but we've planned a video chat to get everything worked out tomorrow. The reason my brother-in-law didn't ask me directly about the situation and believed his girlfriend is because he is aware of how traumatic an allergic reaction is for me, and that I hate to talk about it afterward since I cannot stand to relive the situation. I swear, why do people always lie about stuff like this? Do they really think it's not going to come out? I mean, it nearly worked. If OP didn't have hundreds of strangers screeching about how awful the situation is, she would even have allowed her back. Spot on. Most people will avoid conflict exactly like OP almost did, even if it costs them dearly. Not some, most. People putting their foot down the first time and not repeating themselves is far and away the minority of responses. I challenge anyone who thinks otherwise to reflect on a time they did something for someone they didn't want to do it for or didn't deserve it. I feel like most will immediately see a correlation. So wait, did she actually talk to you and you forgave her, or did she lie about it? She lied. I hadn't talked to her since throwing her out before she texted me calling me an a-hole for the search if she was to stay in my house, which she absolutely won't be doing now. I read your post yesterday, and that's exactly what I thought happened. It's bizarre that she wants to stay so badly after dissing you like that, and even more bizarre to lie about all of it to stay with you again. By the way, I get it. I have an anaphylactic allergy to mushrooms. I would never let her in the house again either. Now for the last update. So, I have talked to my brother-in-law. We had a long and emotional conversation. I won't post it all here, since some of the stuff we discussed is personal, but I still wanted to update you guys. To start, brother-in-law kept apologizing and saying he should have checked with us, not just believed his girlfriend, now ex-girlfriend. He went on to explain that the reason he wanted to talk with me today, instead of yesterday after the call with my fiancé, was because he felt like he had already failed us by believing his girlfriend. We do not agree with this at all and do not blame him. So he wanted to show he truly is remorseful for everything that has happened, not just say the words, but show it through actions. After the call with my fiancé, he confronted his ex. At first, she tried to convince him that I was lying and trying to ruin their relationship. That didn't work, so she tried to manipulate him with tears. Brother-in-law explained that now that he has fully seen all of her crazy behavior, he immediately recognized how manipulative she is. A lot more happened, but I won't go into detail since it isn't my story to tell, but my brother-in-law's. The end result is that he broke up with her. He also told us more that we didn't know, including that they had actually broken up after the second time they visited us. He didn't want to be with someone who clearly didn't care about the people in his life and was willing to put someone in danger. He explained they were broken up for about 2 months and only got back together after she sent him a message saying she had reached out to me and that we had worked things out because she felt awful but didn't expect anything from him. Now it's clear that it was just manipulation to get back together with him. Another thing we didn't know is that brother-in-law hasn't been happy where he currently lives for the last year or so, and one of the reasons he often comes to visit us is because he has been considering moving to our area. So, I have a feeling she has been doing all the crazy stuff in hopes that we would blame brother-in-law, and if we were mad or low contact with him, he would move. More manipulation. I wouldn't put it past her. Brother-in-law also sent out a message to their extended family explaining the whole situation in case she reaches out to the family. This way, I won't have to relive the trauma surrounding an allergic reaction to explain what's been going on. I also told brother-in-law and my fiancé about what it's like for me to have a serious allergic reaction for the first time, what it feels like, and the absolute horror I go through. That was definitely the hardest part of the conversation for me. Neither my fiancé nor I blame brother-in-law. The way I see it, he is a good guy who sees the best in people and who has been manipulated by his ex. He is still more than welcome to stay with us, and with everything he told us about how he has been feeling lately, we are excited to have him stay with us and hopefully be able to help him out with everything going on. A lot more was said and talked about, but I think these are the important parts for the update. If I've forgotten anything, I will add an edit here. Also, thank you to everyone who commented and helped me with this situation. Hopefully this is the last part, and we can go back to focusing on our wedding. You said that your brother-in-law still feels as if he did something wrong, but you don't think he did. Why don't you invite him for an extended visit so that he can look for a job in your area as he plans to? That way he will know for sure that you trust him, and he will also be far away from Psycho Girl. He is invited to stay with us for a while. He is currently looking for a flight sometime in the next 2 weeks.